What's going on YouTube? Chris here. I want to bring you all an update today of Bitcoin. Right now we're going to be looking at Bitcoin on the 1-day time frame. We're sitting at $10,820. I wanted to bring some to your attention. As we've been paying attention to these long wicks down here at support around $9,816, we've seen some defense. You can see we've started to move up on about average volume right now. But one good thing that's taking place is we have a MACD cross taking place on the 1-day time frame right here. If you can see this down low, we have not had a cross to the upside since roughly about July 21st. And the last time we had that upside cross was right down in this area, and that's what pushed us up into this next impulse wave. If you can take a look down in here, once we had that cross, that's really what pushed us up to that next level, those overhead resistance areas. So what we need to do today with this MACD cross, if we can continue to get some volume, some big swells, we may be able to go up here and test 11,348. Then it'd be up here around 11,984. Because we talked about, I took the trend line off, but we talked about how we had a trend line break, and typically most of the time between 9 and 14 days you'll actually go back up and back test that trend line. You know what, we'll throw that in there right now. And basically what we're doing with this trend line, we're trying to get as many touches as possible. That's what the key is when we're looking at Bitcoin here. So if we go back down, we're going to try to get as many possible touches as we can. So back in here we have about 3, we have 4 right in here, and then we had our trend line break. Let me move this down just a hair here. So you can see that we're almost getting close now to back testing this white trend line, which is going to be extremely important for us, guys, because I want to see how we react to that. Are we going to crawl and climb back up in that so we can start testing some of those higher levels that, you know, $12,000, $12,500, or is this going to be an area that we still need one of those quick retracements back down? I would not be surprised if we had a quick flash crash or something like that to fill that gap at around $9,600 and then continue to keep moving. We don't have to fill the gap, as I've talked to you all before. Gaps, most of the time they do fill, but they do not have to fill. It's not a 100% thing that if you see a gap, it has to fill. The chart still can move, but a lot of times they will go back and fill. And what I would anticipate, if that's the case, just a quick drop back down into that area. There's a lot of buying pressure in that spot for that gap, and then most likely we'd be able to keep moving to the upside. But what I also want to talk about, as we're getting this MACD cross, you can see the histogram as well, how it was starting to tick to the positive, and that was correlating with all these long wicks right around support. Now what we did, we changed up our moving averages a little bit today. This is a new moving average system that they put into TradingView Pro, and it's something that I like to use. What we're going to be looking at, these are EMAs. We're going to be looking at our 20 EMA, and that's going to be in red. Then we're going to be looking at our 50 in orange. Then we're going to have our 100 in this light blue here. And then our darker blue is going to be our 200 moving average. So we're still up above the 200. We are trading up above the 100 moving average, which we wanted to see defended. That happened. And now we're fighting with this 50 moving average right in here in orange. And you can see we have wicked up to it. So today, if we could close up above that, that would be a really good sign for us as well, that we may have a shot to come up here and test that 11,300, then up around that $12,000 range. And it's going to take volume, as we've talked about before. We've had some decent volume coming in right in this area, about average yesterday, and then today we have roughly about 12.5 hours until the close. So we're going to have to see if we can continue to get this volume, because a lot of times when you have these big sell-offs, this big stick right here, you can make that up on the backside. And crypto's 24 hours a day, so you don't really get a ton of gaps when you're looking at these charts and things like that. So a lot of times when you have those big moves to the upside, the backside, it can take it right away, just like over in here where we had strong moves to the upside, then on the backside really make it up. So we're going to see if we can get that reaction back up into some of these higher areas. If we take a look at TradingView, right now you can see we're actually having a buy signal, so that's really nice. We were talking about that yesterday, how we were getting in a neutral and trying to change that into a buy, and it has happened. Right now we have a 5 sell, 10 neutral, and a 13 buy. Oscillators 1 sell, 9 neutral, 1 buy. Moving averages 4 sell, 1 neutral, and a 12 buy. Another thing I wanted to look at was our Fibonacci. We were looking to see if we could continue to hold the 0.618 out of this beautiful impulse move that we ended up having. So from our low up to our high, what you can see is roughly here, guys, we were trying to defend this 0.618. You know what? Let me move the Fibonacci down just a little bit more, right into that area, right at the bottom. My apologies. So right here, the 0.618, we had all these wicks right around it. We only had 1 or 2 candle body closes below it, but we have been defending it. And a lot of the times you'll get a bounce from that 0.618 up to the 0.382, and that'd be $11,071. That was kind of an area we were targeting along with this trend line here, seeing what we end up doing with that. But it's nice to see that a MACD cross is starting to take place there, and we haven't had one since about the middle of July. So this is significant because it hasn't happened in quite a while. We're just going to have to see if we get that volume and that follow through. Next, we're going to take a look at a few more indicators. If we take a look at our awesome oscillator, you can see how that is moving into the positive territory as well, moving up. We're going to continue to harp on the volume. We want to continue to get that buying pressure to push these prices up. Next, we're going to take a look at our momentum. Momentum's looking good. We're at 652 right now, and we had a trend line break out of here. Right there's our trend line break, and we're moving to the upside. So, you know, guys, there's some really good things that are taking place for Bitcoin here. We found support off the areas we wanted to with these longer wicks. We talked about that many times. When you get the cluster of wicks, a lot of times that will be your support or your resistance area, depending on if you're looking at the top or the bottom. And now we just really have to get through some of these moving averages, this 50. And if we can close up above the 20 as well, we'd be up above all the moving averages if we can get a nice candle close today. So really keep an eye on these areas, guys. I just want to put this out there for you. God bless each and every one of you. Take care, my friends. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell.